Hey guys, lucky-star-shi-roku here, and welcome to my office and recording setup tour. Now, I did originally make this video a while ago, and I originally intended it to be for my 30 subscriber milestone, and I'm now at 39. So yes, it's a little bit late, but allow me to explain. A lot of things have happened in the meantime. For example, I got a new setup, and then there's all these stuff with the Avengers going on, so I just didn't have the time to upload it. And I think showing an old setup would be, I don't know, I'd rather show all the new stuff now, really. So in this video, I'm just going to show you my recording setup. I'm going to show you my office. I'm going to show you what I have, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about them. Now, unfortunately, I'm not super techie. I don't know every little thing about them, but I'll basically explain my own level of expertise. Anyway, without further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, so the first thing I would like to show here is the setup I have on the outside of the office. So this is my door. It is a fire door, but as you can see, it's also got a few things here. It's got lights to let people know when I'm recording. It's got a sign to show when I'm recording, like what I'm recording. I've got a pen here so I can update it as often as I need, and that's just to make sure people don't interrupt unnecessarily. Anyway, that's all I've got to show here, so let's go and have a look at the interior of the office, and I'll show you all the stuff I've got going on there. Okay, so this is my office, or my flat, but honestly it's more like an office than anything at all, to be honest, because I use it more like an office because hang on, oh, I forgot one thing, hang on. Okay, sorry about that. I just had to do something quickly. But as I was saying, this is, I use this more as an office really because, I mean, yes, it is my bedroom as well, but honestly, I do a lot more work in here than sleep really, since, well, I'm a bit of a night owl, to be honest. But yeah, this is all the tech I have. Over here is my computer. So I picked everything all myself from PC World. So I mean, I've got a monitor which is really good. It's the I'm not entirely sure what it is, but it's really good. It's really good quality. It's a 1080p. It's got really good picture quality, as you can see there. It, like, creating thumbnails and making videos on that is absolutely brilliant. The desk here is new. I've been wanting this for a long time, actually. But yeah, I didn't have this desk. It was just a regular desk. My keyboard was on here, but now I've got a proper computer desk which I've wanted for a long time. So on here I've got a slidey drawer, which is where I keep my keyboard and my mouse. I probably should blue tack this down or something because it keeps sliding everywhere. But the keyboard lights up. It's got a few little extra additions here. It's got, as well as all the normal keys that a keyboard generally has, it also has a few extra keys which is more for gaming really, so I can make little shortcuts which should help out in either gaming or video making, which is really good. The mouse is a bit special here as well because it's got a few extra buttons. This button on the middle allows me to control the speed of the mouse. Usually I prefer it at 2 because that's perfect for me, to be honest. It's a decent speed for me. Some people might like to go to 5 or whatever, but I'm more comfortable at 2, to be honest. I've also got speakers which are really good, but to be honest, when recording I generally have my headphones plugged in. Webcam's up there. I got all of this myself. I picked everything out. Some things I had to get afterwards because I originally thought this monitor had a built-in webcam, but it didn't. So I had to get the webcam myself afterwards. But yeah, the desk has a lot of room. Originally, I didn't have that much room on the desk, and it was a little annoying to say the least. And then I've got a little bit of space under my desk as well. I'll get to the computer in a bit, but I've got shelving space here. On here, I put all the notes I write for Let's Plays. On here, I write all the notes for Let's Plays that are coming up very shortly. And then the other shelf, I have where I write all my notes for upcoming Let's Plays in the near future, but are still a bit further away. And in case I need it, because you never know when you're going to need one, I have a spare mouse here, because, well, you know, mice are extremely useful, and you never know when you're going to need a spare one. So it's always good to have. I recommend anyone, like, even if you've got a wired mouse, I still recommend keeping a wireless one out, just in case, because they're crazy useful. And you never know when you're going to need a spare one. So this is the microphone I use. It's a blue Yeti. I think I may have shown this in previous videos. I can't quite remember. But anything from the blue series is really good. There's the blue Yeti, there's the blue Snowball. But it's a really good microphone. The stand is not for it, but I still make it work. Now, the computer is interesting because, well, what's inside it, because this has got two operating systems on it. It's got Windows 10, which is what I'm using right now, and it also has Ubuntu Linux. I don't know what version of Linux, but it's on there. Haven't got much to do with it just yet. I'm still working things out. I have this little USB hub, which I have a lot of stuff plugged in on a regular basis. I've got my external hard drive in here. I have my microphone in here. I have my webcam in here. I have my spare mouse for emergencies in here, which is also connected to a keyboard, which I'll get into in a bit. It's got my phone charger, and then it's got two extra ports for whenever I need a controller or when I need to plug in my Elgato, which I'll get into in a bit. But yeah, it's a really good setup. These are the headphones I use, which are currently plugged into my computer. As you can see, it's plugged in there, my headphones. And these are the headphones I use when recording. They're really good. They're soundproofing as well, but when recording I tend to only wear one ear cup because of the sound cancelling, and I need to hear what I'm saying, and I prefer not to be shouting. Which can happen if you can't hear what you're saying very clearly. Okay, what else? So there's a fair few things I want to show. So next I'll show all the notes I have here. Now, firstly, I write a lot of notes for Let's Plays and other stuff, just because I have a bit of a horrible memory and I like to remember stuff, so I write all kind of notes. That's a note for my microphone, so I know what setting is for what. If you look on the back of the microphone here, it matches up with this. So the little heart symbol that I use, that's the solo stuff, but for solo Let's Plays and vlogs, I usually have that, which is what it should be set on now, as you can see right there. If it would focus, please focus. There we go. But yeah, it's currently on there right now. I know it's not a heart, but it looks like one. And then I use the little figure of 8 symbol or infinity symbol for co-op stuff, which is right. If it would focus, please. There we go. Right there, which is what I use for co-op. And by the way, the pop filter, I actually made it myself. I should really probably get a proper one at some point, but this will do me for now. It's just something I made out of just a sock and a wristband. It works enough for me, but I do kind of want to get a proper pop filter eventually. So that's back to the notes, right? So the So yeah, all those notes would just help me with the microphone, so I know what setting I need to be on for particular things. Although most of the time I'm on the solo video one, because all the videos I do mostly are solo, with the exception of some co-op series I do. Geez, my hand's getting tired here. Excuse me a second, guys. There we go. That's better. That's way more comfy. But anyway, that is to help me out with my notes and stuff. Like, here is all my recording notes for what buttons I press, in what order to get it to record. So OBS I record by pressing Control and then the brackets, XSplit, because I use 2 recording systems. You can read all the notes there. And then I can't read 24 hours, and unfortunately YouTube has everything in 24 hours, so I've made a little translation there to help out with that. This helps me out with my console recordings and such. It looks a little complicated, but believe me, it makes perfect sense for me because I'm the one who wrote it. And then here I've got a few extra little bits which help me out. These headphones, only one ear cup works, which is perfect when I just need to listen to see if music's on without actually listening to it, just to know where it's on, like just to know how much time I've got left and such. If I have to have the video done in a particular time, which works out. And I also got these little things which help out when I'm doing co-op series and such. I just plug that into a headphone jack, and then the 2 pairs of headphones I need. I have another one which is currently over there, which I'll get into in a minute. I also have a fan here. It's a Dyson fan, and it's got both cold and hot. It's currently off. I have 2 remotes there, which that one is for the Dyson. As you can see, I can put that in cold mode, and if it gets really, if it's during the so you can have it cold. You can have it cold during the summer, and then in the winter you can have it on warm. So that's on warm now, but I will turn that back to cold and then off because I don't need it right now. It can get kind of warm in here, to be honest. That's to help out with the lights and stuff. Yeah, of the speakers, in case I forgot mention. There's a few things I might have forgotten here and there. So yeah, another pair of headphones for just when I need one ear cup, just to know if the music's on or whatever. Okay, what should I show next? There's a fair few things here. Now onto all of my console stuff. I have a lot of consoles here, as you can see. I have the Dreamcast, I have the Xbox 360, the PS2 and the PS3 there. I have the N64. That's just a printer for when I need to do office type of stuff. I have the Xbox One, although I don't like it that much, and I've only got it around for Halo stuff really. PS4, Nintendo Switch, the Super Nintendo, or SNES as some people may call it, with the Super Game Boy attachment. Here I have the Nintendo GameCube with the Game Boy Player attachment, so I can play Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color games. Wii U, original Xbox, and I think that's everything in terms of consoles. Now let's talk about the screen here, because this is another recent addition. It's a TV. The last one I was using was a monitor, and it is really, really good. It's good for sound quality and stuff. I have one major, very little gripe about it. It's the headphone port is very, very difficult to get to, and has given me so much frustration in the past. So I've just plugged these 2 pair of speakers into it, so just so I have access to it a little easier, really. I mean, it's a good, don't get it wrong, it's a good sound system, and it's a good picture and all. It's just very, very frustrating to use when you need to do co-op stuff. So as you can see, I've plugged the headphones in the back here, because this is where the the headphone port would be, and it's just really frustrating. So I've plugged the speakers into here just to minimize my frustration when recording or setting up for recording. Now the curtains are just regular curtains. I am in the future thinking of getting blackout curtains to help out with that, just so there's less natural light in here, because I don't like natural light in here when I'm recording. It can be really frustrating. Now let's talk about cable management. I'm not too proud of it, to be completely honest, but it's the best I can do, really. It's the best I can do with what I have. So yes, I know it may look like a hazard, and yes, it is, but it's the best I can do. It's the best I can do with what I have. I mean, we've got surge protectors there, and that seems to be a surge protector as well. So if there's so that should help out with that. And yes, I know it's a mess. I know it looks like a hazard, like a fire hazard or whatever, but it's the best I can do. I don't really have a choice, to be honest. I've got everything in a sleeve here, so that's all. That's more neat than what it. You know, so it's not as much of a hazard. It's a little more safer, but you know, the fire bit still kind of scares me a little. What else? What else can I show? Should really have notes. I should really have notes and stuff, shouldn't I? So yeah. Next, I have the setup here. Fox knows more about this than me, to be honest. But that's a converter to convert all my older consoles to here. So I've got AV to. I don't exactly know everything about it. Fox did all this for me, and I'm not that techie, but I just know that this is all the AV consoles, which are then converted to basically in a format so I can actually have it on here and record, although recording bit still needs a little work. And then here I have switches, which all my HDMI consoles are plugged into one thing. So all I need to do is just plug in my Elgato into my computer, and then the console should switch things, like the TV and all this should pretty much switch things for me, so I have less to do. As I said, I have another one of these, which help out with co-op Let's Plays and stuff, so I can just plug two pairs of headphones in for when I'm doing co-op Let's Plays. Ultimately, I do a lot more solo stuff than co-op, but you know, maybe I might do more if I can get more co-op games, because I have very little, to be honest. Okay, I suppose I can show my library. Firstly, let's go for my Steam library. It's still building, to be honest. There's not as many Steam games on there as I would want, but I'm still building it. So I've got a lot of games here. Some will be Let's Plays, some will be filler, some may not be. I've not really decided yet, but yeah, I like all kind of games. I do like my RPG horror games, to be honest, and RPGs in general. So FNAF, Half-Life, Hyper Dimension Neptunia. Yep, you can just have a good look at that. That's all the games I have. I've got a good lineup, personally. I don't want to delve too much into that, because I don't like giving away my plans before I'm ready for them to be announced. So I don't want to go into too much detail about that. But yeah, I've got a good lineup of games and stuff. Now, just give me a second to show you the games on my shelf. Jeez. So overall, I do prefer physical games over digital games, and that's my physical library. That's all for my Switch. This is all that's my Nintendo shelf. That's my PlayStation shelf. That's my Xbox shelf, and then there's just miscellaneous kind of stuff, really. So Switch, DS and 3DS, Wii and Wii U, and then all the other stuff. I'm still building, to be honest. I'm still working things out, to be honest. Then there's PS4, PS3, PS2, and then the little PS1 I have, which is very, very short at the moment. I don't have a PS1, but I have a PS3 and a PS2, which can play PS1 games, so that's good. So I can still do PS1 games if I want on the channel. All my 360 games, I have a lot more 360 than others. I have only one Xbox One game, which is by my Xbox One. That's Halo 5 Guardians, really. Yeah, out of all the collections I have, I'd say my 360 is the one that's more complete, I'd say. And then there's just my Game Boy, my DS, Game Boy games, whatever. That's just a miscellaneous shelf, to be honest. Now, while I was looking at my consoles, you might have noticed something. A lack of controls. Despite this being a gaming area, you can't really see any controllers. Now, there is a reason for that, actually, which I will show you here. This is a suggestion that one of my friends gave to me to put all of my controllers in a box, so everything is all here. So I have a spare keyboard for if I feel like playing games far away and don't particularly like. So if I want to play like with a keyboard on my lap, I can do that if I want. Plus, I've also got this because not every single Steam game is compatible with controllers. Ultimately, I'm more of a controller gamer. I prefer controls over keyboard, but if it's not compatible and there's no way of making it compatible, then I'll make do with this. It's a really nice keyboard. It helped me out a lot. Plus, you might have seen this in non-gaming related videos as well when I was using my table away from the desk. This has helped me out more times than I can count, so I'm keeping that around. And then in here I have all kind of controls from PS1, sorry, not PS1, 2. Basically, I've got almost everything in here. As you can see, I've got a N64 controller there or two. I've got Wii U, I have Switch, I have pretty much everything. I have an abundance of controllers. Apart from the Dreamcast. That one I only have one controller for, so if I suddenly need a new controller for the Dreamcast or whatever during the recording, I'm kind of screwed. But yeah, hang on. Give me a sec to get them all out. Just give me a sec, guys. My gosh, that took a while to set up, but I now have all of my controls that I use, well, for the most part. Basically, in the controller box you saw, I usually have the ones I use on a regular basis. I usually have those at the bottom. I usually have the ones that I tend not to use as often at the bottom, and then the ones I use on a regular basis at top. So I can get to the ones that I use regularly at the top relatively easy, and the other ones just, well, kind of stay there unless I have more than one friend over, then they can have the ones I don't use as much. But I've got all the main ones out here. I've sorted them all out in each system, each version of that system, and, well, miscellaneous stuff as well. So I'll also show which controllers that I personally like out of any other. So firstly, let's go with the Xboxes. So I've got the original Xbox ones. Unfortunately, I don't have any original console controls. They're all third party in terms of the original Xbox, and I do tend to use third party a lot more than actual controllers by official systems. Although I do still have some of them. So those are my controls for the original Xbox, and I prefer this one, which is the more like the original one, but it's still third party. These are my 360 controllers. That is the one I like, and it's my second favourite controller, to be honest. I use it a fair bit in Steam. Although, if we go to my Xbox One controls, overall I don't like the Xbox One at all. I feel the controller is the only thing they got right. So those are the Xbox One controllers. That is the one I tend to use, and I use it a lot more than the 360 controller these days because, well, I just like it a little better. Well, I do still like the 360 controller, but I like that one a little better. Now, on the PlayStation, so here are my PlayStation 2 controllers. see how I've divided them in each section. So that's an actual controller, and these ones are just a couple of third-party ones, which is still pretty good. I'm still working out which one I like the best in terms of these ones, so I'm still working that out. Then we have PS3. These are controls I have. That's a third party, that's official, and that's a third party one, but I use that one a lot more because I don't like the PlayStation layout very much, so I get controls that are more Xbox-like, since I grew up with the Xbox. Those are the PS4 controls. I use this one more than others. Although I have started to use this one with the PS TV. Sorry guys, sorry about my thumb. I'm getting used to using this new phone, so yeah, sorry about that. But I'm using this a bit more with the PS TV, and then we go over to Nintendo stuff here. So, this is obviously my Super Nintendo controller. I've got a couple. I don't use it all that much. I need to find a controller that's actually decent on it, because some don't feel that responsive, to be honest. This is my N64 controller, which I'm thinking of getting a third party retro fighter, which feels more like a normal controller, because I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of the thumbstick here. You know, I prefer it being somewhere else. But anyway, GameCube, Wii, I have all of the Wii and Wii U attachments for the most part. The Pro Controllers, the Nunchuk, the Wiimote, which has the Xenoblade Chronicles cover over it. The Wii U gamepad, the Pro Controller for the Wii U, the Switch, the Joy-Con, the grip attachments, the grip thing that you put the Joy-Cons into, and then obviously here I've got a few miscellaneous ones, which, well, firstly there's my Dreamcast controller, which I only have one of, sadly, so if that breaks in the middle of the Let's Play, then that kind of screws me over a little bit. And here, obviously, I've got the keyboard, which I use for all sorts of things, both Let's Plays and work stuff as well. And then over here, I've made a makeshift controller, which I made for emulators. Like, it's basically a PS3 controller, but I've stuck Nintendo controller style buttons over it, so I can use that for emulators now. Ultimately, I prefer not to use emulators unless absolutely necessary, but as I do promote the actual main system, plus, you know, pay for what you play and all that, but sometimes we don't have a choice, and I would only use emulators in Let's Plays if I didn't have any alternative. But that's my emulator controller, and I am hoping to get these two controls working for emulator as well, so hopefully that'll work nicely. But I think that will about take care of it, I think, because I think I've shown pretty much everything that I wanted to show, really. Yeah, I think that's about it. Oh yeah, I've also got another laptop here. I've got a laptop here for office, some office stuff, some Let's Plays. I use it for all kind of different stuff, really. The spare mouse as well, but I think that's all I want to show, really. So yeah, that's my setup. That's what I use. I hope this is helpful to you. If you have any questions about any of the stuff, feel free to ask in the comment section, and I will try and reply to you the best I can. Keep in mind, I'm not very techy, I'm not very knowledgeable in terms of tech, but I'll try and explain it as best as I can. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. If you like it, if you thought this was useful, if you like this video in any way, shape or form, then feel free to leave a like on your way out, and obviously subscribe, turn on notifications, join the Discord, follow me on Twitter, all that good stuff. And I will see you guys in the next video. Actually, I might make this a series, like behind the scenes or whatever. Might do a behind the scenes series. Yeah, that could be an idea. But yeah, with all that said, I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, have a good one, you guys.